Okay. So basically, so 1.6 is the area where we generally feel difficult. Okay. So in 1.6, what we have to do is that we have to find out a way where we'll be able to remember things very easily. So how is it possible? First, in this, what is generally asked? They'll give you a fossil. Okay, they'll give you some fossil and they'll ask you to write either about its phylogenetic status, or they'll ask you to write regarding the features. Okay, where is it found? Or they'll ask you about the cultural features. Most importantly, in many of the questions, what is asked is physical features. Okay, and this is the area. Physical features are the area where one feels difficult to remember. Right? Now, this area, I'm going to tell you how to deal it in a simplest fashion. What we are going to do daily, we are going to take up one or two fossils, one or two fossils. So there, I'll tell you that you have to, today after going home, just make this sheet. Okay. So in this sheet, on one side, you write all the components that I'll be telling you today. You have to include all the components. So with respect to skull, so first you'll write skull, and within that you will be writing regarding the cranial bones. So like this, you'll be making a sheet. So cranial bones, this is zygomatic bone. I think if you have seen the parts of the skull, I have already taken the class, right? So zygomatic bone, this is the mastoid process behind your ear. Okay, so then you have maxilla, right? So this above your teeth, you have some hard surface, that's maxilla. Then you have mandible jaw, right? So these all things you should know. This is the frontal bone, this is the parietal bone, this is the occipital bone, right? So just if you are aware what we are talking about, then rest of the things will be easy. So you'll be mentioning, so with respect to skull, these are the features. Then you have dental features. So you have molars, premolars, incisors, canines. So this is with respect to skull. Then you come to the body parts. Okay, you have foramen magnum just below skull, and then you have neck, then you have chin, then you have collar bones, you have supraorbital ridges. So like this, you have to remember the body parts first. You should know the names of the parts first. And if you are clear with the names of the parts, okay, so if you are clear with the names of the parts, then you will be able to write the answers easily. So what you will do, you'll make a list. You'll make a list of these things, and now for each fossil, you'll be noting down, and you'll keep this sheet with you every 2-3 days. What you're going to do? Every 2-3 days, you're going to revise it automatically. By the time you reach your exam, which everybody feels it a difficult one and they try to skip it, but the same thing you will feel it so easy that you don't even need to read it again. You need not read it again, right? Or else it become, and you'll notice the trend while moving from the first fossil to the last fossil. You'll notice a trend. So when you notice a trend, it's easy to remember. You need not remember exactly also. Or if you are getting something in between, so you will tell it is better than this or it is worse than this. This will help you recall. Getting my point? So this sheet will be your savior at the end. So you have to do it because I have already made it. But the thing is that if I give you, you don't recognize its importance. So you have to do it by your own. And at the end, if you are not able to do it well, so at that point of time, I'll help you after sharing your work. Then only I'll share you my work, what I've done. So first you do it, and with this, it will be easy. And then coming to phylogenetic status. Phylogenetic status means now they have found the fossil. They'll try to tell where did it come from, who is its ancestor, in which line did it evolve. So they'll try to tell this, and there are different people talks in a different way. So slowly, when we look at it, look into the details of the topic. When we look into the details, it will be easy. Okay. So now we'll start it. Okay, now you can see this. We are starting with the very first fossil. So first, just try to look at this carefully. You have different fossils. First, Australopithecus, Homo habilis, Homo erectus, Homo neanderthals, Homo sapiens. See, I'm telling you one thing, don't get afraid by seeing these names. You might feel like these names are completely new, right? And it sounds little scary when you listen it for the first time. But you need to understand that it is simple. Right. Australopithecus, so it is where we have started diverging from the primates. Okay, so you have great apes, right? From great apes, it is not the Homo fossil, rather it is hominid. Hominid means like just before becoming or just before developing the features of humans, you have some ancestor. That ancestor is Australopithecus. So you observe a trend here that height is increasing. So it is 1.1 meters, then you have 1.59 meters, then you have 1.6 meters, 1.65, 1.7. Height is increasing. So you can notice a trend. Okay. So you can notice a trend. Then you come to the weight. Weight is also increasing. Just in Neanderthal, you have 80 kgs here, and humans 70 kgs is the average. So we'll see why Neanderthals are having larger brains, having larger bodies, are less intelligent than humans. Okay, despite having large body, despite having larger brains, okay, they are having less intelligence than humans. That we'll notice, but only other than this, rest all you will notice a trend that height is increasing, weight is increasing, and what are the features that are humanistic in nature? What are the features? It is they have walked upright. So they started walking upright. They have become bipedal. Okay, they have become bipedal, and then you notice here the tools. Okay, humans have started using tools for the first time during Homo habilis. Till then, there were no tools. What they did not make tools. It does not mean that they were not using tools. They were using randomly any dead bone has been found. So any animal is dead, and you have bones. So you are taking that bones and you are using it as a tool rather than making anything. Now, for the first time, they have started making tools during the Homo habilis. We'll be studying about tools in archaeology, so need not worry about tools. That answer you will be writing automatically, which type of tools are found with whom. So what you need to notice is that height is increasing, weight is increasing. First time they walked upright, here tools have come, and Homo erectus, one important feature is fire. For the very first time you notice that the fire is being used. So in the past, fire must have developed naturally, but now they have started controlling fire. Okay, naturally fire must have developed because of thunderstorms or because of two stones hitting each other, or in natural ways also many a times it develops. But controlled way of using fire for the first time has developed during the Homo erectus, right? So then you have specialized tools coming at later point of time. At the same time, now intentional burials have started. Okay, so you can notice that the emotional component of humans is getting developed. That means they have started becoming more humanistic in nature, right? And next you have Homo sapiens. That's the immediate ancestor of humans. So we are Homo sapiens sapiens. Okay, so we are also known as modern humans. So our ancestors is Homo sapiens sapiens. So we are almost similar. This has been spread across three areas, like you have Caucasoid, Mongoloid, Negroid, which is generally divided. So it is considered that they are divided into three categories, and from them itself we are evolved. So this is a broad picture that you should know that there is a trend in the evolutionary process. Now you know height, you know weight. What is their important feature? 3 points, it's clear from here. See, this is Homo sapiens sapiens, it's mentioned, but I'm telling you there is Homo sapiens also. Before this you have Homo sapiens, then at the end you have Homo sapiens sapiens. Homo sapiens sapiens is a Homo sapiens sapiens is a humans. Okay, so this is the trend, and then we are starting with the first fossil. Right. So before going to the fossil also, just notice other trends. The brain size is increasing. Walking, how they are walking, previously it was quadrupedal, then bipedal. Then you have teeth. You can notice the canine size is decreasing, and they are no more arboreal. They don't get onto trees. Arboreal means that using trees, no more arboreal. Right. So now this is the time period, because we have seen the time period also, like, but during which time period? See, in millions of years ago, Homo habilis is somewhere around 2 million years ago. Australopithecus, you can see it is in between 3 and 2. So this is Australopithecus africanus. I'll show you this diagram again when I'm discussing every time each fossil. But for your overall idea, that this trend, if you can remember, half of the answer is done. Right. So this is the brain. You can see this is the, see, I told you this is frontal, right? And front part of your forward side, it is frontal. Then sides, you can see two sides. You have 2 bones, that is parietal. Then back side it is occipital. Then side you have temporal, right? These are the, see, many a times we keep on using these words in the fossils. So there you should not get confused. What does it mean? So anywhere if you're confused, please try to pose the question immediately and get it clarified. Okay. So coming to the first fossil of ours, that is Australopithecus. Okay, Australopithecus means, from the word you can understand, Austro means south, Pithecus means ape. So that means from the word it is considered as ape that is found in the south. But some people have found that there are some features of humans also in it. So they were confused in the they were confused in between. Okay, so some initially there was hoax. Okay, so that what they have done is that they have found a fossil, and to show that it's humans, like various bones have been arranged. Okay, and they try to show it as a fossil of human. But what happened is later, using radiocarbon dating, they were able to tell that not even radiocarbon dating, by using fluorine dating only. Fluorine dating. So different bones observe different amount of fluorine. So then from there they were clear that it is not fossil of one species, rather it's a combination of many others. Okay. So anyhow, they were confused, like, okay, initially they were not clear what exactly is it. But over a period of time, the generic name was given that as southern ape. So Australopithecus means immediately you can talk that it is found around 3 to 4 million years ago. From this you can see that, okay, so you can see here Australopithecus africanus, it is starting from here, right? It is below 3 years. So from 4 to till 2 million years ago, you can notice this, right? And next thing is that there is Robinson's dietary hypothesis. What is this Robinson's dietary hypothesis? This is not at all difficult. So just try to focus. I'll ensure that you remember the things in the class itself, but give your 100% concentration here. So Robinson what happened is that initially they have found the skull features. Along with that, they have also found the dental fossils. Okay, so they have found some parts of the skull, some parts of the tooth, that is dental features. So they have found this. With this, now what he has noticed is that in one of the fossils, there is large canine. So canines, you know, right? So there are large canines in one of the fossils. In other fossils, there are see, you have incisors, canines, premolars, molars. So there are premolars which are larger in size, large occlusal surface. You can see this. Occlusal surface means it is like this. This surface is large. Okay, large occlusal surface. Why do you have large occlusal surface? Why do you have your premolars wide? Because if there are any nuts which are strong and you have to crack it, then you need it, right? If it is meat, you don't need the premolar strong. And then you have enamel. Enamel means the coating that we have on the teeth. Because sometimes what happens, some people brush very strongly, because of which enamel will wipe off. After that, like, see, if your enamel is not good enough, what happens when you take hot drinks or cool drinks, immediately you feel pain within your teeth, right? So that means strong enamel will help you eat things better. So what has been noticed is that in one of the fossil, for the teeth, there is strong enamel, strong premolars, large premolars, and occlusal surface is long. And in one, you have large canines. Okay, in one you have large canines. So from this he wants to understand that okay, we have found two fossils. One fossil is having this way, one fossil is having large canines. So from this he says that this fossil is carnivorous in nature. That means it will eat meat. Canines are needed for carnivores, right? This is herbivores because it is depending on nuts and other things. This is Robinson's dietary hypothesis. So whenever you want to write about dental features, you can write this. But based on dental features and along with other bodily features, they try to classify the fossils found. So now see, somewhere around 3 million years ago, okay, somewhere around 3 million years ago or 4 million years ago, you started finding fossils. Now you found other fossils also, in other place also you found a fossil. That also dated to the same time period. So same time period in nearby places, that means same people should have lived or same kind of animal genera should be lived. Now different types of fossils of same time period were found. Small differences are there. Now they said that are there two different species altogether or they are belonging to the same species? Now what they have done is that initially they have classified into 4 or 5 genera. Later they have classified into 2 genera. That is Australopithecus gracile, Australopithecus robustus. Okay, so they have come to a conclusion and they have divided it into 2 only after a point of time. Initially 4, 5, but later on just 2. And one thing to support it is Robinson's dietary hypothesis. Right. So now out of this, which is gracile, which is robustus? See, gracile robustus, why did you call this? Because of its bodily features, which we will be looking at. Now you can see here, first thing, there is sexual dimorphism between Australopithecus. First thing you need to understand that male and female are very different with respect to this fossil. You can see 50% of males is females. So they are half of males. That is one thing you should remember. So you can notice that this is just like the primates only. In primates also, if you see, the same thing happens. The males are very large in size, whereas females are having short height, body, and everything, right? So you notice the parts to be half of the male, right? This is sexual dimorphism. You notice sexual dimorphism within the fossils, right? So now if you notice genus, it is divided into two, gracile and robustus. And it is the most explored and most studied fossil. Okay, it is the most explored and most studied fossil. Why? Because it is the immediate ancestor of Homo. Because it is immediate ancestor. How our ancestor has been. If you want to know about it, you have to. You are more interested in knowing it, right? That is the reason it is more explored, and it is divided into two, gracile and robustus, and gracile is further divided into different names. Okay, don't need to get into much of the details. Just remember it is Australopithecus afarensis, anamensis, africanus. So these three names, if you can remember, that is fine. Okay, Australopithecus afarensis, anamensis, and africanus. right? If you can remember these three, that is decent enough. Then so you notice one more thing, that see, I'm trying to give you as much as images so that things get imprinted. So I'll try to revise what all we have done at the end, but try to focus on things what I'm trying to convey. So there is potassium organ dating, which we are going to study in archaeology. So when we study dating methods, using that potassium organ dating, so there was one footprint that was present, how long or how back it was. So using that, we were able to find out certain features, that it was almost 4 million years ago, between 3 and 4. So this is also known as litholyph footprints. From there, we can see that they are bipedal in nature. By seeing the footprints, that means this is the footprint of somebody who is walking on two legs. We can get to know. So we have seen that one of the important feature of Australopithecus is that it is bipedal in nature, right? So it's bipedal. So from this, we are able to understand it's bipedal. See, from teeth and everything, we cannot tell whether it's bipedal or not from the dental features. But you have got the footprints over here. Now, it is found in different places. Don't bother about how to remember these things. Just focus on understanding. Memorization will happen with time. Just like I said, once you make the table, you will keep on looking at it multiple number of times and automatically you'll remember. Now, memorization is not the concern. You should understand what has happened there. Okay. So now if you notice, it is found at different places by different researchers. How will you remember this? Now, if you look at this, it is looking very clumsy. How will you remember this? It's better to draw a map, and in the map, just point out where and who. So it is within Africa. So just single map can give you a picture of where first fossil is found, second fossil is found. But for your clarity, I have just divided so that at least you can choose 2, 3. See, nobody will remember everything. All you need to do is that write 2 or 3 things. Next, other form is robustus, and robustus is divided into Bossi, Ithopithecus, and robustus. Okay, so there are 3 varieties of robustus. Gracile and robustus are divided based on their morphological features, which we will be seeing. I have divided and I have shown you the difference between the two, but I am telling you there are 2 types. So many fossils are found. They are classified into 2 types. First is affarensis, right? So Australopithecus affarensis, Ramidus, Africanus. Then you have Paranthropus, gracile. In graciles, you have Paranthropus robustus, Paranthropus bossi, Paranthropus ithopithecus. So different people have discovered different fossils at different points of time. Don't worry, I'll give you this PDF also. Okay. Just focus on understanding. Okay. So these are the basic differences. Now these are the fossils found. What is sagittal crest? I told you on that day also, sagittal crest is it like like West Indies cricket players, they have a haircut that have in bit, that is a line. It's like a line in between. So in the past, what do you call, the apes used to have that sagittal crest. This is known as sagittal crest, a kind of ridge that is there in between. Why is it present? Like when your jaw is very large, you have too many muscles. When you have to chew, okay, so if you see, when you move your jaw, your nerves in the head will move, right? If you can touch here, you'll feel it, right? So if you can touch on your occipital region, you can feel when you move the jaw, when you're eating, all the nerves start moving here, muscles. So all your muscles are attached onto the top. Now your jaw is smaller, so you don't need any strong connection. But in the past, their muscles are so many. In order to help that, you need a sagittal crest. So if sagittal crest is absent, that means the size of the mandible is decreasing. Right? From this, it should be clear that in gracile and robustus, from the word itself, gracile means it is smooth, right? Slender compared to robustus. Robustus means stocky. So here you can see that there is no sagittal crest, and here there is sagittal crest. And here, see, now one more thing. Prognathus. What is prognathus? Means protruding jaw. So here you can see that this is coming outside. Here it is flatter face. Now what you need to understand is that trends are opposite here. One is human-like feature. Now if you see no sagittal crest, that means it is like human. But prognathus, which is not like human. In humans you have flat face. You don't have protruding. You have flat face. But here sagittal crest, it is ape-like feature, but whereas flat face is human-like feature again. Since you have sagittal crest, you have massive lower jaw. This is simple to connect both of them. If you remember one, you can write the other. If you have sagittal crest, this is opposite. Okay, and cheekbones are stronger here, zygomatic. Skull is somewhat rounder. Okay. In humans, you have round skull. If you notice, right? You have round skull, but whereas in apes, you have receding forehead and you have bony orbital, supraorbital ridges. It is not round in shape. Rather, it won't be this way also. So here is where your occipital bone is present. That means your vertebral column will attach from here. That's why the ape will be having the falling face. It won't be having straight. It will always keep it face downward, right? So that is the reason. But whereas we keep it straight. So this is one thing. Right. So these are the basic features. Now we'll get into further features. This is gracile. Afarensis means gracile, right? You can see its body parts, right? First, with respect to cranial capacity, it is 430 cubic centimeters. Jaws, I already told you, jaws are relatively long and narrow. Rib cage, then you have pelvis. Pelvis is human like. See, once you are walking on bipedal, your features, like we have seen in the last class, in bipedalism what happens, the pelvis gets changed. So once they are walking bipedal, that means it is human like only. And one thing you can notice, the arms are longer, it is more powerful here compared to limbs. See, our arms are slender, it's not stronger. Okay. And then you can see femur bone that is slanted towards the knee. So it is just like humans only. So femur bone is slanted towards the knee. And next, very short thigh. We have long thighs, whereas they have short thighs. Then foot is arched feet. So in humans also, see one thing, once they have become bipedal, most of the things becomes similar with respect to legs and the parts of the lower limbs. But what's difference here is that they have short thighs and long hand limbs or forelimbs, long forelimbs, powerful forelimbs. So arms are very powerful, long curved fingers and toe bones. Okay, so you can notice, so toe bones, if you notice, they are long. Fingers are also long. So these are the basic features, and shoulder blade socket that faces upward like an apes. There are some features that are present which are similar to ape. Those are one with respect to hands. Okay, so the forelimbs are very long and hind limbs are short. Though they have become bipedal, still some features remain of apes. So one is with respect to this shoulder bone. Okay, so shoulder bone, it's like a ape, right? So Australopithecus afarensis, I've already told you. So you can see this face, prognathus. I told you, right? One good feature of afarensis is that no sagittal crest like us, but face, if you look at, then it is like apes, right? So these are the fossils that have been found. Who has found it? Who has found Lucy? If you have any idea, leaky. Okay, so you'll remember all those things over time, but it's very famous. Recently, there is a celebration also with regards leaky. So these are the things: height, weight, how is the facial features present. Okay, so now you know some of the facial features, right? You know sagittal crest, you know with respect to prognathus or orthognus, that is flatter face or prognathus face. You know some of the features: shoulder, how is it present, how the hind limbs are present, how the forelimbs are present, right? So now you're aware with respect to some features. All the features nobody can ever remember. If you can remember what all you have read in the class, that's more than sufficient. Right, now you can see that differences between the gracile and robustus form. Just go through once and I'll try to discuss it again. Why the ribs? Previous slide. Ribs are in. We can't tell why is it present, but we can only tell how is it present. Because in the apes you have rib cage in cone shape only. In all the apes, slowly it starts changing when you become human. So that is, it is having more similarities with respect to ape. That's why still the ribs are in the cone shape only. Okay, so that is a feature of ape. Why then it's adaptive feature of the environment. That's it. Right. So now frontal region, here it is rounded because face, see frontal region means this is the front part of front side, right? So in afferences I already told you, in gracile form it is round like feature, whereas here it is broad and more ape like. So that you can write it, you need not write it is high rounded and well developed. You can write that here it is flat face over there, and here it is prognathous, and then there it is round, and here it is flat or receding. So just use simple words, need not complicate yourself, just have an idea. Later on you can write in your own words if you understand what has been discussed. Okay, then zygomatic bone. I hope by now you all know zygomatic bone. What is zygomatic bone? We have discussed, right? So that zygomatic bone here it is large and here it is massive, moderately large, massive. If you see as we become humans, this zygomatic bone size will reduce. It will become small in size. Okay, so never write that large zygomatic bone in better Homo fossils. So you should know which is becoming larger in size, which part is becoming smaller in size. So this trend is very important. So I hope this mostly you'll be able to write on your own if you read it once or twice. What all we have seen, see if I've shown you this diagram directly, differences, you will not remember. Right. So once you know the features through diagrams, then you'll slowly able to write many of the features. Then you see the supraorbital ridges here. See, in robustus, you'll have it more large because you see the face, it is flat, right? Oh, sorry, it is not flat. You see the skull, it's not round. When it's not round and when it is having receding forehead, so automatically the supraorbital ridges will be larger in size. So here in robustus, you have larger size, and whereas in gracile you have lesser in size. And mastoid process, see I told you zygomatic bone will become lesser, like that mastoid process will develop well. Mastoid process means ear, so bone behind your ear. Okay, so this will develop better in humans, it is better in humans compared to the earlier forms. So we should know here it is slightly developed, here it is not developed at all. So which is closer to humans, it will be having more development with respect to mastoid process, whereas zygomatic bone will reduce. So these words you need to understand. Most of the times what happens is that they don't know what is zygomatic process or mastoid process, and they try to start mugging up things. How far can we do it? One day, 2 day, 2 fossils, 3 fossils, but by the time you go to fourth fossil, then you leave all the three. So just know this trend better. Foramen magnum, this also you know, right? So like gracile is more close to humans. In both of them, in both of them, it is forward placed. You need not write quite forward, even more forward. You can ignore that. You can just say that it's forward placed, because both are bipedal. And you know all these features also. I talked about it with respect to Robinson dietary hypothesis. You can easily write about dental features once you know dietary hypothesis of Robinson. And coming to pelvis and leg bones, it is like you can write it. See, don't get into minor details, because if you look at some other textbook, you'll have some other things. But have a broad understanding. They have become bipedal. If they have become bipedal, they'll look like more like humans. So when they look more like humans, okay, right? So the pelvis is similar to humans, like it's a combination of hominid and gorilloid pattern, and here it is hominid pattern. That means you're coming close to humans in gracile, in between humans and apes in the robustus. So these are the features, and foot we have already seen. So see here you have divergent big toe. Why the big toe is divergent? What is big toe? Like in your foot, whatever the toe that is present, that is called as big toe. Why is it divergent in the apes? Because just like we use our hand to hold things, they use the big toe, okay, to hold on to branches for climbing. Okay, so to get onto trees, they were arboreal in nature. So this is one of the feature. Clear? So here there is no divergent big toe. Here there is divergent big toe. Are you clear? So in humans it is very well developed. Not developed means it's not there. That means it's very far away from humans. In humans, see this is, see here you can notice that this is gracile, this is robustus. Robustus means little far away from humans. This is little close. And what is the feature of humans? Mastoid process is well developed. You can touch your ear and behind your ear and see it is well developed. So no, like that is with respect to your sagittal crest. Like okay, so which is connected, your muscles get connected. So that's different. So here what you notice is in humans it is well developed. So gracile is more closer because it is developed here. Here it is far away. It is having more primate-like features. It is not developed at all. Clear? Since it is not there, that means it is more close to primates, and this is more close to humans. Simian shelf is that part of your dental feature. Like you have the upper jaw, right? So here the feature that you have inside your upper jaw, right? So that is called a simian shelf. So simian shelf is absent, and here it is present. So in humans, you don't notice the simian shelf to be present. So see, many of the things don't follow order, but broadly you need to remember because all these things you will never write in your exam. It is given either for 10 markers or 15 markers maximum. If they ask you to classify both, then they'll ask for 20 marker. So when they are asking for 20 marker, you should talk more about the cultural features, phylogenetic status, some of the physical features, distribution. Okay. So these are the things you have to focus because every part will carry only 5 marks. If you are writing more physical features and less of cultural and phylogenetic status, then also your score will drop. So you should give importance to all of them. So now if you see how many features have you written? 10 points. Year 10, you have almost 15 to 20 points. Hardly you can write 7 to 8 maximum. So that's why broadly remember what all we have read. How is the forelimb? You go from top. How is the mandible? How is zygomatic process, mastoid process? How is the skull, whether it's rounded, whether it's receding, supraorbital ridges, and then you come to the body part. How the hands are present, how the legs, like forelimbs, hind limbs, then pelvis, foot, done. Don't get into the minor details. It will complicate your process. Hmm. cranial capacity. Huh. See, we do not decide just based on one feature, because it is also having 500 to 600, it is also 450 to 600. There is no fix that like, okay, this is having so and so number, this is having so and so number. You have thousands of fossils found. In one you'll have 580, one you'll have 570, other will be, so you can't compare that. But both are almost same in cranial capacity. And see, this is all hypothesis only. Nobody knows what happened. Just to have more correlation and better remembrance, we are using this. Still, if you go and read in the detail, actually, this is archaeology, and archaeology, paleontology, especially. Paleontology means study of fossils, and in study of fossils, it is a field science. It is not a theory subject which you should sit and study. Just because it's given in our syllabus, we are studying, but or else it is more of observing things. So here we are trying to correlate so that we remember better. Say this is the gracile form and prognathus. So you should draw the diagram. It's very simple to draw the diagram. Like, don't unnecessarily give a feeling that it's complicated. See, first thing, we can use this. And never draw chin. Chin will not develop till Homo sapiens come. They won't be having chin. So some people will draw the chin neatly and they'll show in the diagram. So never draw the chin. So ensure that it is round like this and directly it is going to the teeth. And then from here, you can use it. And see, it should be prognathus. I'm not able to do this. Let me do it. Right. Now you can see. This prognathus has to be shown. At the same time, this roundedness has to be shown. So when you do the next fossil, that is not round over there. It is rather receding like this. And supraorbital ridges are present. But when it comes to face, it is flatter. It is not having prognathus. It will be having like this. So here the prognathism is not seen. It is flat face. It is prognathic. This is rounder, whereas this is not round. It is flat. These are the features that you have learned. In the diagram also you should show that only. In the diagram you will draw neatly showing it round, and in both the cases prognathism is shown, right? So that would make a mistake and it will clearly show that the person did not understand what he's talking about. So don't make these mistakes. Just ensure if you have written something in point, that is reflected in your diagram also. So you have to use this diagram. See, once I did not practice before coming to class. Even then you are able to, even if you are able to draw like this also, it's fine. And it's been many days that I have drawn the diagrams. So it can be drawn better even within 5 to 10 seconds also. Just all you need is that some momentum of your hand. So if you do it 2-3 times, you'll be able to do it better. right? So now coming to the fossil. So you can see this Paranthropus. See, you can see this. It is not round. Rather, flat is also not. It like face is also not prognathic. It's not so prognathic. In there, you will see so much of prognathism, right? So then, the phylogenetic status. What happened to them? Where did they go? Where did they come from? Where did they go? Where did they come from? What happened to them? So there are different theories. That is two-branch theory, and the other is three-branch theory. So in two-branch theory, first it has been given by Johnson and Timothy. So these names you have to remember: Johnson and Timothy White. This theory, what does it state? It states that Australopithecus afarensis, you have first afarensis, and that is split into two branches: Australopithecus africanus, robustus, and bossi. So you have Australopithecus afarensis. This is split into two branches. One, it is divided into africanus, afarensis, then Australopithecus africanus, then it evolves into bossi. Okay, Paranthropus, robustus, and bossi. Then it will give rise to. Here on the other side, you will have Homo habilis. So from Australopithecus afarensis, you have Homo habilis. Then you have Homo erectus. Then you have Homo sapiens. So this is two branches that is evolving from afarensis. First you have afarensis, then africanus, robustus, then bossi. On the other side, it is Homo habilis, Homo erectus, Homo sapiens. So this is what it has been written here, two branches. This is two branch theory. Three branch. There is three branch theory also. After this, you have three branch theory also. Two branches are three branch theory. Okay, you might be confused. We'll look into it. But these are two branches only, right? So this is two branch theory. There is three branch theory also, which we'll discuss. Okay. Online, are you clear? You have any doubt? Any doubts? Kavya, Vineet, Deepshika? Right. So first is two branch. Then you have three branch theory. One of the fossil was found by Alan Walker. Okay, after finding that fossil, then the three branch theory has come. Okay, so again, when you are writing about these theories, don't have a notion that whatever somebody has talked is right. It is just their hypothesis that they have made from their findings, and it has been criticized heavily by many of the people at later point of time. So don't think that this is the conclusion. So generally, I've seen many of the students like they'll read one theory and they think that it's right, and they try to counter other views by using this theory. You should not use it as something standard because they have just given their opinion from their findings. Okay. So now, when it comes to two branch theory, there is other version also, right? One is Australopithecus afarensis is there. Australopithecus afarensis gives rise to Africanus. Australopithecus afarensis gives rise to Australopithecus africanus. Then the split happens. Same, on one side you will have robustus and bossi, and other side all the homo habilis, homo erectus, homo sapiens. So I'll draw here afarensis, then from here it comes africanus, then from here you have robustus, then you have bossi. On the other side you have homo habilis, homo erectus, then you have homo sapiens. This is also two branch theory. There are two versions. Right. Then you come to three branch theory that is given by Alan Walker. First, three branch theory, if you notice, first you have afferences. Afferences is divided into three here. Three branches will come out. So one extra thing that you need to observe here is that Paranthropus Australopithecus. Okay, so we have seen that robustus have three types of fossils: Australopithecus, okay, Bossi, robustus, right? So here Paranthropus Australopithecus, Pithecus means ape, okay, and then it gives rise to Paranthropus Bossi. This is one line, which is additional line. In the other, you have Africanus, and this gives rise to robustus. Africanus, robustus. Right. And the other line is that it is homo line. Okay, you have homo habilis, homo erectus. Are we sure of anything? Nothing. We are not sure of anything over here. So you remember these two, and later on I'll tell you about the Skupin's model, which you will be able to understand better. Right? We'll try to revise this because fossils I don't want to rush through. If I tell you two fossils today, you won't be able to remember anything. Okay, so now let's recall what all we have done so that after going home, it's easy for you to remember everything. So now let's not see anything and just let's try to recall. First, what did we see? That Australopithecus Initially, it is divided into 4-5 genus, but later on, looking at their morphological features and the fossils found, the scientist community have agreed to divide it into two, that is gracile and robustus. And one simple way to remember some of the features is Robinson's dietary hypothesis. Then you have height, then you have weight, then you have time period, then you have cranial capacity. So cranial capacity was saying that it is more there. So it is somewhere around 500 to 600 and it is 450 to 600. So we can't say exactly whether it's more or not, but they're close. Cranial capacity, you know, and I told you with respect to diagrams. So when you're drawing the diagram, it is little round and prognathic, right? And brow ridges are not that expressed. But whereas, see, this is gracile one, this is prognathic in nature, and this is round. And here what you notice is that it is more receding. It is not very prognathic. Right. So more expressed brow ridges, it is not round. Okay, these are the features. Dental features we have already know. There it is parabolic, here also more or less parabolic. Simian shelf, present, absent, those things if you want you can remember, it's okay. Zygomatic bone and mastoid process. Mastoid process, where is it well developed? It is in more human like. So that means in gracile it is more developed. Here, sorry, mastoid process, there it's more developed, here it is not at all developed. Zygomatic bone, here it is larger in size compared to that. Sagittal crest, where is it present? No, that is what I told you. Where is it present? Sagittal crest? Should not get confused. It is present in robustus. So basically, when robustus is having the sagittal crest, then obviously your mandible size will be large. One non-human like feature here is that prognathism. No, no, it's not. It's not necessary. Prognathism and mandible size may not be correlated always. Mandible size even being larger, it need not be prognathism is the slope. It depends on your forward upper maxilla, right? Hmm. No, no, that's not it's not correlated. Like, that's your assumption, but it's not correlated. Generally, we feel like that. Our general notion is that if it is prognathic, then it should be large, but it's not necessary. Okay, so that is the only slope, but it's your sagittal crest and mandible is dependent on the lower, right? It's based on your food that you are taking. Okay, so these are the features. Then you'll write pelvis, it is more similar to human. Your forelimbs are larger, stout or strong, and compared to humans, these are larger, more ape-like feature, and your fingers are curved. Big toe, okay, so your big toe and the other fingers have spacing. In divergence is seen in robustus. Here divergence is absent, right? These things, and you have foot, it is similar to humans because it's bipedal, and the thigh bones are smaller in size. In humans, it is larger in size. So you'll write those features, physical features. It's done, right? Almost 10 features. If you can write, that's more than sufficient. Very much sufficient. Differences, they'll ask, when they ask you differences, some 8 to 9 points, if you are able to write, that's sufficient. Okay. Then after that, You have geographical distribution and who has found it. Just try to draw the map, or else I'll provide you the map. But I want you to do it first. Before me giving anything, I want you people to do, so that you remember better. Next, we have phylogenetic status. Alright, two branch theory, you have three branch theory, two branch theory by Johnson and Timothy White, and then you have Alan Walker. Two branch theory, one will say afferensis, and from there Africanus, Robustus, Bossi, here Homo line, right? Habilis, Erectus, and Sapiens. Then you have other afferensis, then Africanus, from here it will split. Then you have Robustus, Bossi, then Homo line. This is two branch. Then you have three branch. Three branch says that it will add something extra, that is Paranthropus Australopithecus, Paranthropus Bossi, and other is Africanus. See, this is afferensis, it is Africanus, then you have Robustus, Africanus, Robustus. This is Bossi, Australopithecus, Paranthropus Australopithecus, Paranthropus Bossi. Then you have Homo line, Homo habilis, Homo erectus, then you have Homo sapiens. This is a three branch theory. And some people say that, see, they'll remove this and they'll keep it here, and they'll keep here unknown ancestor. Some unknown ancestor is there. See, no theory is accepted so far in strong sense with respect to classification. But what we believe is that we have come from Australopithecus. So that is the point of divergence from the apes. This is what we believe. And gracile is more closer to humans. Are you clear? Any difficulty in understanding? Right? Now you can take up your doubts. Tomorrow we'll be doing two fossils, Homo habilis and Homo erectus. These are the two fossils we are going to take up tomorrow. And the next day we are going to take up Homo neanderthals, and the last day Homo sapiens. So in this week 1.6 will be done, because this is one of the big chapters which will generally take more time, but somehow we'll try to do it in detail so that even this is done comfortably. But tomorrow you should come up with your sheet that I have told you. At the same time, go through what we have done, and you should be in a position to write the answer. Okay, it should not be like I'll read once the chapter is done, or I'll read once the paper is done. Don't have those notions. Try to finish things on the same day itself. It will be more comfortable. If these chapters are done, if you notice the final revisions, which are the chapters that are going to take more time. One is fossils, other is archaeology, primates, unit 1.4. These will take more time compared to other chapters. So if you are doing it now itself, then you'll be able to do around 8 to 10 revisions. So 8 to 10 revisions means that almost you're done with your optional and you need not worry about it. All you need to do is that your general studies. Okay, so this is there. So that's all for today. If you have any doubts, you can bring it on. No, no, sagittal crust is a primitive feature. No, no. Sagittal crest is a primitive feature. That is the reason that trend is absent there. Okay, in which is close to humans is having the sagittal crest. That is a negative. Okay, now if you want to tell whether gracile is close to humans or not, they are confused. It is having primate-like feature, and at the same time it is having human-like features. See, robustus is having sagittal crest. Sagittal crest is a primitive feature, so primate feature. So robustus is close to primates, but it is having flat face. Robustus only has sagittal crest. Gracile won't have sagittal crest. You see here, you see here, where is sagittal crest here? Gracile. In robustus, you have sagittal crest. See this top part. Just recall the diagram so that it would be easy. Where sagittal crest is present, where prognathism is present. Diagrams are the best way to remember things so that you don't confuse which parts are present where.